Hello, and welcome to Piano Tech Radio Hour, the weekly bridge to the future of the piano tech community. I'm David Anderson.
And I'm Ethan Janney. And we're here to ask great questions, and then we'll shut up and listen to some of the authorities, experts, and most outstanding personalities in our little world of pianos.
So, put on your best set of headphones, and let's get started.
Hello, everyone.
Wow.
Welcome to Piano Tech Radio Hour. We'll let you all filter in here for a minute before we get started. We've got a couple of guests today, very exciting, and some knowledgeable folks, someone we've had before and someone new. So very exciting for today. And yeah, you're all still filtering in here a little bit, but not too well. Here we go. We got a couple jumping in. I'll pull up my little blurb I say at the end here, at the beginning here, so you know where we're all at. So of course, this is Piano Tech Radio Hour, which is sponsored by Piano Technicians Masterclasses, and Piano Technicians Masterclasses is an online educational resource that offers you cutting-edge instruction from piano industry masters without leaving your home. You can find out more at www.pianotechniciansmasterclass.com. And I will say this, we have not figured out all the details of it yet, but I'll say this up front. It's sort of
you got it.
a bit unrelated, but I think very important. So few of you may know, we have a team of people that are working behind the scenes to help support this project. I've had various young and enthusiastic people assisting us throughout the globe, from places as far as, China, London, UK, Israel, Turkey, Africa, India, and they've really done a great job helping us. And in particular, we have a couple of really integral members on our team from India. And as you may have heard or may not have heard, the COVID situation in India is pretty terrible right now. It's very difficult for them. And so luckily, the people that are on our team, I think, are relatively safe, but I don't know the details about their friends and loved ones, and I know it's very difficult. So we started this project at the beginning of the pandemic to help support mostly, we're centered in the United States, but people all over the world kind of get through a difficult time. So what I'm going to do, I don't have a link right now, but I'll send out an email probably this week with a way for us to all help support the efforts in India for them to help deal with the COVID situation right now. And I'll try to integrate something special, like, if you donate, you can get a discount on PTM lectures, or maybe get a PTM lecture and portion goes to the nonprofits in India that are helping out. If you have any good ideas, let me know. But I'll try to do something that everybody can win, and we can also help out for people that are having difficulties there. So having said that up front, I'll move on to introduce our guests for today. And we have Wayne Ferguson, who's been with us before, who's an illustrious Canadian piano technician who has a cool workshop out of his garage there and an interesting operation out of his home. He's storing some really unique pianos, as well as working for some of the world's most illustrious artists and having relationships with excellent brands that we've all heard of. And he has brought with him today a friend of his, Cip Mayer. And I'm gonna let maybe Wayne introduce Cip, or Cip introduce himself as we move forward. And so why don't I turn it over to Wayne first? And Wayne, if there's anything I missed that you wanted to add about yourself, feel free. And then maybe tell us a little bit about Cip. And then Cip, if Wayne misses anything, you could tell us about you.
Good.
Yeah,
okay, that's great. Hello, everyone. I think it looks like there's about 50 on here. That's fantastic. Well, anyway, so I've been in business for about, I think 40 years. I think that's just as long as Chip has been in business. I actually think that I may have met Chip going back in the early 70s when I used to go to Chicago for all these NAMM shows, because I know Chip was involved in the very beginning with a lot of different musical instrument companies. He has quite a long history there. I just wanted to talk about the last couple of months. I've been doing a lot of restoration work, and I've been replacing some parts in some pianos. And I just wanted to share some stories to help you guys, if you're doing any restoration work, how to make things easier, maybe keep out of trouble. Sometimes we can make mistakes, and it can take us a day to sort of backtrack on what we were doing. And
we never make mistakes here in this community. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I have a sign on my wall behind me. It says, "If all else fails, lower your standards." So it's I don't use that very often, but it can be challenging sometimes. So I started in the piano business about 1985. I went to school for 2 years, did a training program. I came out of that program thinking I knew it all, and I didn't, but I thought I did at the time. I remember within the first 6 months, I was doing my first job. I had a customer that had a Steinway B, and I decided I was going to put a new set of hammers. They were totally chewed up. And I ordered a set of oval hammers, and I put them on that piano. And it didn't feel right to me. I didn't know what was wrong at the time. And the customer said she had a hard time playing it. It's just a coincidence that I had gone to PTG seminar. I can't recall where it was right now. But I remember going to the Steinway booth. And at the time, there's a gentleman there named Henry Steinway. And I was asking him some questions about this issue that I had to get some advice. He said, "Just a minute, I'm going to get someone to come talk to you." And he brought a gentleman up. He was quite an elderly gentleman. I think his name was maybe Fred. And he had been with Steinway forever. And I think he was 80 plus years old. And I had told him what I had done, the problem I was having. And he kind of yelled at me. I kind of felt it was yelling. He said, "You can't put a set of oval hammers on a Steinway action, especially accelerated action. That's going to be way too heavy. He said, you have to take them off and put a set of proper Steinway hammers on there, and that'll fix the problem." So I took his advice. About 2 months later, ended up doing all that and get it sorted out. But that was kind of a mistake I made at the time, not realizing, when we change some of these parts, we're going to have some sort of change in the touch weight, unless we're really careful. So part of this is to talk about what I do to try to keep myself out of trouble and to make an improvement if I can. What I've found in my business over the years, a lot of pianos I go to, there's always issues with touch weight. All the time I'm seeing pianos that are rebuilt. Touch weight is on average 58, sometimes up to 68. I've seen stuff up to 72. I've seen really uneven touch weight on actions. And I thought that there's probably every now and then there's some technicians that do some work and maybe don't get the right part on and don't realize what the problem is. So I just wanted to go do a little bit of an overview on what I did to try to make things correct and not having any problems. So years ago, I don't know when it was that Steinway had this new idea that you ordered a part from them, and I don't know when they started this. I haven't been able to find out. Genuine Steinway parts. And if the seal is broken, it's not genuine Steinway. So I don't know what year they started that. Maybe we'll have someone in a minute that can answer that question. And also, there's going to be we're going to have some information about debunking some of these rumors and ideas we hear about. So anyway, the issue is, we can spend a lot of time getting these parts, and even though we're getting the right parts, sometimes there's still issues. So what I've done today I don't have a Steinway action, but I have this old action from 1922 Emerson upright piano. It was a wreck, and I did new key tops. I have soda blasted here, so I soda blasted everything. It looks new now. And I happen to have some used Steinway whippings that I put on here. I also have some used Yamaha action parts that I put on the hammers. So I did a bunch of geometry changes, made it all work. So on this piano, there's Steinway whippings, angled, and on here, there's Yamaha hammers. And it works perfectly. It sounds quite good in the piano. I did a lot of voicing on it. Everything is working properly. Now, there was a lot of work doing this because the old parts were just direct, not even, when I got the piano, there was no strings on it. So I had to sort of set up some samples. So before I was doing this, I was going to have the piano generally working. And this is what I would normally do if I'm going to receive new parts. I'll take the parts. First off, I'll make sure that the action is working properly. I want to make sure there's let off drop on all these sample notes, on the 12 notes throughout. I do samples on each section and through the bass, but also in the middle. So what I'm doing is I'm doing these samples first. So I'm regulating the piano to making these samples work properly. So once this is working and I'm happy with it, I can put it back in the piano. Okay, everything's good. What's going on with the let-off screws? Are they being buried? Do I have enough room for the let-off? Are they, sometimes we have issues where you need more travel, you can't get any more out of it. So these are issues where I want to make sure this is working good first with these samples. I do this when I'm replacing hammer assembly. I also do the same thing when I'm doing whippings. In my opinion, doing whippings is a lot more work than the replacing hammer assemblies. I think hammer assemblies is easy. But I think the main thing for me is, and what I'm recommending, is sometimes I get a new job, I'm anxious to get all the parts off. I want to rip them all off and I want to put them all on. And I've done that a couple of times in the early years. And man, I was in piano land trying to find some sort of normal regulation. It just was gone. And I had to spend days trying to make everything work. So I learned my lesson. I won't do that anymore. This has got to be correct first, all these samples. Once that's correct, then I got a guideline to go on. From there, I can take everything else off, leave the samples on, and start putting new ones in. And I'll start working close to the samples on the left and right of each one. And I take my time. I'll go back and do that again. But one thing I will do before I start.
Can I introduce a question here?
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Looks like a relatively quick one. Dorothy asks, what are angled whippings?
Oh, good question. Well, how about I will I would let Loyed actually answer that question in just a minute, because I have Loyed, so he can answer that question.
Perfect.
So and it's very important, because you want to make sure you're using the right part for the piano. If it's not right, you're going to have a geometry issue, whether it's going to be the capstan's not meeting the whip and heel cloth. You're making an adjustment, but you're noticing, gee, the drop screw is being buried to get anything done. A lot of screws are all the way up, and I can't really get regulation happening, right? Sometimes that can be a problem if the hammer bore and the hammer is not correct. So that could be an issue. So sometimes trying to figure what the issue is. But what I will do is I will get the old parts off, and I will weigh them. I have a Fandruk weight bench system over here, and I have scales. And also I have a miniature scale, which I will use in a customer's home, key weights. I'll do a quick analysis of the key weight throughout. But what I do is I take the parts off that I received, or the new parts, and I will weigh them. So I take the samples off and I weigh them. I want to know how many grams they are. And then I want to weigh the new part. Are they heavier? Are they lighter? I want to take that into account. I also, if I get a new part, I'm going to check quality control. All the parts are coming with high quality control aspects. You get little pieces of paper when your parts come from Renner. These are the papers that you receive with all the quality control. And they have them numbered, whereas whip and number one is stamped. I think it's 41, 42, and 88. All the other ones aren't numbered. But what I do is I'll take a fine lead pencil, and I'll write on each one everything in order, right out of the box. I don't want to just get everything mixed up. So I will number all the other ones, make sure everything is numbered all the way along. And I take my time with this. I don't, I look at what's the samples are on. I check that I have, how is the travel twisting spacing, how is the alignment for the whip-in. I want to travel the whip-in. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. So once I spend more time on these samples, it'll have big payoff in the end. I had a technician years ago call me that he was trying to find the right regulation. And I says, well, what are you working with? He says, I took everything off and put everything back on, all new. He says, I'm just totally lost. And I said, well, you're going to have to take some of the old parts off, try to find where you were, and then set some samples. So he got it sorted out, but he wasted a lot of time. I've wasted a lot of time too. So it's important to make the right decision. So I want to talk about this kit here I have, and how great it is. And also I have this Renner catalog, and I had a chat with Chip from Renner USA last week. We had a long chat. I told him I thought it would be good if we can do a class. Those guys in Renner America have this amazing academy where they have a lot of technical help there for doing this. I think it's always recommended for us to take advantage of these opportunities if we ever can, like going to academies or attending classes on Piano Technicians Guild. I've been to many conventions in the past, and I've always come away with learning so much. And so I would like to introduce Chip, and maybe Chip, you can take the floor for maybe say 15, 20 minutes. Chip has a video he's going to share and talk about this kit here.
Well, absolutely. Well, thanks so much, Wayne, for inviting me to appear. And Ethan, I really appreciate the opportunity. I see a lot of our friends and customers here. It's a pretty small industry, And I recognize a lot of the folks here. So hi, thanks for joining. Good to see you all. Wayne, you started out by talking about our long history in the industry, and that's true. I kind of grew up around this as a little kid, so it's possible I may have met you at a NAMM show with my dad, who was kind of a big deal in the music business. Most of you know him, Loyed Mayer. I'm his oldest son, Chip, and my brother and I are both in the family business at Renner USA that my dad founded over 32 years ago. But we'll get into a little bit more about that later. I'll start out with some of the things you mentioned. So Wayne, you mentioned Henry Steinway, and he was a good friend of my father's because back when my father was president of that company, he used to work with Henry and John Steinway and the family. They were still involved. And after they sold the company, my dad went on to become, at the time, the largest piano rebuilder in the United States. And that's where he realized that there was a need for quality original dimension replacement action parts to restore some of these beautiful golden era pianos in his rebuilding shop. So he had a relationship with Renner, having worked with them at Steinway and some other companies he used to be involved with as well. So his idea was, well, let's have Renner build the original dimension replacement parts for the pianos found throughout North America to enable people to restore and replace these action parts when they wear out, like Wayne was just describing. And our philosophy is, rather than try and re-engineer or reinvent the piano, just to replace what's there and maintain the original design excellence of the piano. So Lloyd worked with a lot of experts in the industry and designs original dimension parts for all the all the old pianos. And that's how Renner USA got started. We're the exclusive representative of the Louis Renner Company in Germany for North and South America. And I can answer that question that you had, Wayne, about who designed and when they started that genuine Steinway stamp on their products, because that was my dad who did that. He created that label and implemented that back in the early 1980s. It's Steinway's opinion, and ours as well, that when you're restoring those instruments, you really need to do it the right way with excellent quality. Some of the pianos get restored really well with quality parts, and unfortunately some of them don't get restored very well, and that can tarnish the that very valuable Steinway iconic brand. So it is important to restore the pianos the right way and use high quality parts with that. So that parts kit was also another invention of my father, who, and that was set up to solve the problem of how do technicians select the correct action parts for a given piano, given the various changes that have happened over the years. And, the rails today aren't the same as the rails of 20 years ago or 50 years ago or 100 years ago, and the geometries may have been different. So how do you do that? How do you pick the right parts? Well, you also mentioned the Renner Academy, and we just finished up a fantastic week with our great instructors. Some of them have appeared here before: Rick Baldacin, Nick Gravagna. I mean, who knows action geometry like Nick Gravagna, right? Well, he just took our students through, he wrote the program on that and took our students through how to select the correct action geometry for any given piano using the software that he created. But the parts kit really makes it easy, because you can actually have the parts in hand, test fit them for a given piano, and see how they're going to regulate. So you'll see an example of how we do that. Our company really helps technicians in 3 ways. Yep, there's our parts kit there. Thank you, Wayne. And you're going to see an example of that when I give you the video tour in just a moment. But that's been a great helpful resource, and we give it to technicians free with their first complete order when they buy whip-ins, shanks, and flanges, and hammers all together. The first time they do that, they get that action parts kit free, which contains all the different weapons and shanks and flanges for test fitting in a piano. So that way they know exactly what's going to work and exactly what to. So the question sometimes comes up, well, how do I know which ones to buy when to get the parts kit when I don't yet have the parts kit? So a real easy answer to that, we sell you the parts kit and first, and you can buy that, figure out which parts you need. Then when you place your order, we just deduct the price of the parts kit from your first complete order. So you wind up getting it for free anyway. So I'll kind of give you an example of how that works and show you a video tour of our operation in Scottsdale. We had a camera crew from the Piano Technicians Academy want to come out and do a feature on us a few months back. So I walked them through our warehouse and technical shop and talked about how we help technicians basically in 3 ways: with the products we offer, with the services we perform, and then with the training that we offer to the industry, like the Renner Academy and some other training. We've done a lot over the years with that. So Ethan, are you ready to show that video tour, giving a behind the scenes look at Renner USA?
Yeah, sure. Let's give that a shot. Let me pull that up here. Just a sec. And did you want to show the whole thing? Or is there a portion, just so I know?
No, yeah, 15 minutes, the whole thing.
Okay, cool. We'll sit back and grab some popcorn and enjoy. Let me know if there's any issues with the sound coming through. But, actually, let me make sure I optimize for the sound. Share. Yeah, just let me know if there's any issues, but I'll share from here, and we'll check that out.
Scottsdale, Arizona.
Start from the beginning.
Welcome, PTA followers. My name's Cip Mayer, General Manager of Renner USA, and we're here in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona to give you a behind-the-scenes tour of our facility where we provide what's inside the world's finest pianos. So come on in and we'll take a look. All right, so here we are inside Renner USA's warehouse and technical shop. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the company and what we do and who we are. We are the exclusive factory representative for the Lewis Renner Company in Germany for all of North and South America. The Lewis Renner Company was founded in 1882, and it provides manufacturing action parts and hammerheads for the world's finest pianos. So Hamburg Steinway, Fazioli, Busendorfer, C. Bechstein, Steingraber. There's a whole list on our website that you can see of all the customers that Lewis Renner serves around the world in 80 countries. What we do here at Renner USA is we provide Renner quality products, hammerheads, action parts, and tools to piano manufacturers, rebuilders, and technicians throughout North and South America. One of the things we do as part of that is we manufacture the official testing model for the Piano Technicians Guild that they use when they administer their technical exam for the registered piano technicians. So I'll show you what that looks like. It's an actual 3-note action model made at our factories in Germany, and it's got a working sustain and sostenuto pedal. Very cool. And it features our famous Renner Premium Blue Point hammers. And these are the hammers that everybody's raving about with that Weikert special felt that Renner helped bring back and reintroduced with the collaboration of the Wurtz and Felt Company and some of Renner's manufacturing customers. It's been a huge hit. Can't tell you how many compliments I get on these hammers from technicians all around the country and their customers. Now, one of the things we do here at this facility is we'll help technicians match up parts so they can figure out what they need to rebuild a particular piano. And I actually just got this FedEx box in from one of our customers. Actually, it's a Renner Academy graduate who attended a training program that we do. And he sent some samples of some very old Steinway parts that, that he needs to replace in a couple pianos. Now, one of them is from a concert grand from 1886. I'll show you that here. It's got a different looking heel. And then this one is another Steinway Whippen. This one he says is from a Model M around 1900. So the challenge to get the action geometry correct is something that we make easy with the Renner USA sample parts kit. And what this does is this gives a technician over 40 different pieces of the actual parts that we provide. So the various shanks and flanges, the different geometries. We still make all the original dimension geometries as well as the modern geometries. So in a case like this, what we can do for this customer is we can take their samples that they send us, the first and last of each section, and we can take a look and see which dimension matches up to what they're sending us. And want to pay particular attention to the distance between the center pin and the center of this knuckle. Those leverage ratios are important, and this one is the modern dimension, which is a little bit too long. So this one looks like it's going to be the original dimension with a slightly smaller knuckle. Yep, it's a spot-on match. So we would recommend for this customer that they use the original dimension shank and flange for these parts. And then for these Whippens, we would match these up, and this one I can already tell looks like an angled heel Whippen. And so our part number here, you can see when you line those up, spot on match. The jack toe lines up, the heel lines up, the flange lines up. And you can see these flanges that Steinway used over many years. This was an example from over 100 years ago. This part's about 120 years old. So it's these parts last a long time. These what we did was their rails have changed over the years slightly. So we developed this high definition flange that'll seat properly on not only the current Steinway rails, but also the old Steinway rails and all the different changes over the last 130 years or so. So this will seat at the shoulders rather than at the top, so it doesn't wiggle, and it provides tension for a really good fit. We've got a few other cool advantages in here, like our fine adjustment screw. It allows, once you do your rough regulation, it allows for a more precise level of adjustment that wouldn't be possible with just bending alone. So there's a few cool additional features that we incorporated into these parts that we designed for all the current and vintage pianos found in the North American market. So that's a quick overview of what I'm currently working on right now and how we use our parts kit. And technicians get this free with their first purchase for a complete set of action parts. So when they buy hammers, shanks and flanges and Whippens all together, the first time they do that, we send them this kit for free, or they can purchase it in advance and we'll deduct the price off of their first complete order for a complete set of action parts. And all that you can see and read about on our website, along with additional information about these products and the additional features that they have. Okay, so this is our felt and tool room where we keep our inventory of damper felts and tools that we provide for technicians. These are high quality tools made in Germany for Renner. For example, here's an angled voicing tool. We've got these very popular flange spacers for Steinway, and on one side, and Baldwin on the other side. Very popular tool technicians really appreciate. All right, so in addition to all these tools, this is where we keep our pre-cut damper felt for all the different Steinway models are shown here. So this is for a Model B, for example. It's that high quality pure white Renner felt with the red backing, and it comes with everything you need here pre-cut to do a complete piano. got some of our flange bushing cloth and key bushing cloth felt over here in various thicknesses. You can see all these in our catalog, but this is where we keep that. So now we'll move on into our main warehouse where we keep our action parts and current inventory of hammers. Now, this this sign indicates that the door must remain closed, and that's because humidity levels are very important, and we control that in this climate-controlled warehouse. Okay, so here we are in our main warehouse where we keep our action parts and hammerheads. I'll introduce you to our warehouse manager, who happens to be my brother Michael. And he handles shipping and receiving. We import pallets directly from the factories in Germany, and then we stock them here in this warehouse. So we've got the shanks and flanges, whip-ins, and the world's finest hammerheads. So you can see those all on these shelves. This is kind of an interesting action model. This is on display at the Musical Instrument Museum, which is one of the top tourist attractions in Phoenix, Arizona. So if you're ever in the area, we encourage you to stop by and see the Renner exhibit at the Musical Instrument Museum, where you'll see this real 2.5 times scale regulatable Renner action model. My dad, who founded Renner USA, Loyed Mayer, came up with the idea to have Renner build these for us for some training that we've done at various PTG conventions. When you get a big room full of people, it's hard to see a actual size action model from the back of the room. So he came up with this idea and had Renner build this fully regulatable, working 2.5 times actual size Renner action model. So this is where we do all of our shipping and receiving. We're fully set up to supply all of North and South America. We ship products all over the United States, as well as other countries in North and South America. We've got customers in just about all of them. Strictly piano technicians, rebuilders, and manufacturers, though. When we get a piano owner who wants to purchase our products, we refer them to a piano technician who can buy our products and help them with installation and resell our products to the end user. But we don't sell directly to end users, strictly a wholesale operation. So this is a quick overview of our climate-controlled warehouse and shipping station. And now we'll go back into our technical shop, where we provide a wide array of technical services. So when somebody orders hammers and shanks and flanges, we've got technicians here that can actually bore the hammers, shape them, tail them, pre-file and pre-voice them, so you'll have instant tone right out of the box, and then all you have to do is the final voicing in the piano. And we also will hang them either to factory specs if we have them, or to the samples, like in the example I showed you earlier about that Steinway set of samples that came in. We can copy the angles from those samples and bore them accordingly, and then hang them so they go back in to the piano the same way they came out, just with brand new high-performance Renner parts. Okay, so here we are now in the Renner USA technical shop, and this is where our technicians perform all of those services that I mentioned. We'll do custom hammer services. We actually use our own equipment. Years ago, Renner USA developed the Renner USA Deluxe hammer boring jig, and it's kind of an interesting story. It was a collaboration with MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and the goal was to design a jig that you could use to bore hammers with the different angles and so forth. And this is the jig that we use in our shop, and also what we sell to our customers. It's a very popular product. We ship them all over the world. And I'll have our technician, Stephen, just give you a quick glimpse of how this works and how he would bore one of our Renner Premium Blue Point hammers. Right, if I put this back. Go ahead, sure. So now you can see that hole is properly placed in that molding so that the hammer can then, it'll be shaped and tailed, but then it can be hung on the shanks and flanges to the factory specification or to match a customer's samples. Then you've got a jig to hold that in place. Okay. So that's an example of what the finished hammer would look like. So we provide all those services for professional piano technicians throughout North and South America. To contact us, you can call us on the phone. You can visit our website, rennerusa.com. You can sign up at our online store to place orders electronically through the online store, and they ship same day. You can email us your orders, renner@rennerusa.com, whatever is most convenient for you. So I really thank you guys for walking through our facility with us to get a behind-the-scenes tour of what we do here at Renner USA and how we provide what's inside the world's finest pianos.
All right. Thorough. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Chip.
Well, thank you very much. And that kind of covered that question we had earlier from Dorothy about those angled heel whippings. She got to see an example of that in that parts matching process. So that was a good question. So you saw a lot. We talked about how, we help technicians with our products, our services, and the trainings we offer. So at this point, I'll turn it back to you, Wayne. And if there are any questions anybody has for me, I'll be happy to answer those.
Okay, I'll just mention to Dorothy, the piano that I was working on, and a lot of older Steinways, like 1922s, back then, the capstan on the key was angled towards the keys. And then at some point, I don't know when they stopped doing that. So the angled whipping, so this is a whipping that is straight. And this is the angled. You can see that's sloped forward. And on the piano that this came out of, the capstan is angled. I'm sorry, is angled back like that. Not straight up and down, but on a backward motion. And so it makes quite a difference. If you were to put that, if I would put this on an old Steinway, like in other words, okay, so I'm going to tell you, I ordered, instead of Steinway whippings, I asked for the angled, and they sent the straight ones. And when I put them on the Steinway, started doing the adjustments, all of the let-off screws were being buried. They're going right in. And all the, the drop screws were being buried, and all the let-off screws are coming way up. Everything was out of whack. And when I got the Renner kit out and put on the sample, everything worked perfectly. So I ended up sending those back to Steinway, and I got a set of angled whippings from Renner America. When I put them on, I put all my samples back to normal. When I put them on, everything worked almost perfectly. It was really a good fit. So if I would have ended up using, or if I didn't have the knowledge, maybe I would have ended up trying to work with those weapons, and I would end up doing all this work, and it really would have been correct. So I was lucky to have this kit. I ordered this. I ordered parts from Renner America years ago. I ordered a set of hammer assemblies, weapons, and a back action for a Steinway B. And I was able to, all the parts that came, they fit perfectly, so I didn't have to send anything back. But the beauty about it is I had this kit available for future work. So I want to talk just a little bit about sometimes what happens when parts get old, when you have no friction. Having no friction can actually affect not only touch weight, but it can affect the sound. I had a recording studio that I put a new set of hammer assemblies on. I did that in a whole day. Then they had a couple of sessions to do. And the week later, I went back and I spent 2 days putting the weapons on. Got that all sorted out, everything working. And then 2 weeks later, they had some downtime. I was able to go in and do the damper tray. I put the damper tray in, got everything set up. And right away, I noticed that it sounded like it was sounding better. And I thought, well, that's sort of odd because all I did was change the damper tray. And one of the engineers came in and he sat and played it and he says, oh, that's even better. I was puzzled. So I checked the friction on the damper tray, and I still actually have it here. I kind of don't like to throw this stuff out. But there is no friction whatsoever on any of these center pins here. It was just flying in the breeze. And this one also, you can see there's no screws in here, so they were just all glued up with animal high glue. So I had to duplicate this, but that piano turned out incredible and got to be used on a lot of famous recordings. So, and they were always happy with the end result. So I have been to the Renner factory on 2 occasions. I spent 3 days the second time I was there. In the very beginning, sometimes I would order some of my parts and felts from Jan, a piano supplier in Germany. I think, Ethan, you have some links you might be able to show. The reason I use Jan is they have a variety of some felts that I really like to use that I don't know if Renner has, but they have a variety of punchings that go from 4 millimeters up to 6 millimeters. So if I'm doing a job on a piano, and this has got like, I think 6 millimeters in this punching here, and if I'm going on with something, rather than pulling all the key punchings out, I'll just switch a felt to see how it's going to work. And I'm going to use these anyway, but it's just a matter of they have a nice variety of action felts that are available. Many colors, they do duplicate. I'm sure that it's the same goes for Renner, what they have available. And I just want to ask a couple of questions now to Chip, because every now and then I'm out there, technicians will have certain rumors or things they'll say, you know, and on a couple occasions, people have told me the Renner America parts are made in China. If you see that little stamp on there. And I thought, I don't know if that's true or not. So Chip, you can debunk that question.
Yes, thank you. All of the parts we import directly from Renner are made in the Renner factories in Germany. There's two of them. One is factory and corporate headquarters in Gertringen, which is near Stuttgart. And then the other factory is in Meuselwitz, which is formerly used to be the part that was East Germany. And that's near the city of Leipzig. So yes, I've been to both factories, and when we import those products, they are all made in Germany, and those quality control slips come in the package that you mentioned with all the certifications on various testing that they go through. But yeah, that's important when you're importing and so forth. So no, nothing from Renner is made in China or anywhere but the Renner factories in Germany.
So that's been debunked. Thank you very much.
And I did put that link in the chat there for you, Wayne. Pianotel.com, right? For Alfred Jan?
Yes.
Awesome.
Alfred Jan has a variety of, I think that they have a variety of felts available for technicians going to rebuilding. And if you're doing custom work, or, they sell a lot of parts. They have, it's easy for me to order because I seem to have more issues with border. When the stuff I order from the States, it gets locked up in customs for 10 days. And it drives me crazy. So I had to get a customs broker to try to bypass that. I don't have any problem with anything from Germany. It comes directly through. So, but anyway.
There was another question in the comments, Wayne, from Peter, who was wondering about the Next Academy. Do you want me to address that one?
Go for it.
Oh,
yeah. And we have
sure.
about 5 minutes left. We usually end right at the hour. So yeah, maybe we'll try to squeeze in these last couple of questions in the chat and sign off in about 5 minutes.
Well, the Renner Academy's been difficult to get everybody together in the time of COVID. So the course we just finished up last week was the rescheduled course from 2020 that we weren't able to have. So now that we've just completed that, we're going to reconvene with our instructors and look at their schedules. And lots changed in our industry, but we're kind of waiting to see what, if and when we can schedule the next one. But for updates on that, you can visit renneracademy.com. You can call our offices and we can give you updates on that, or you can follow us on our social media profiles where we'll put updates on that, and that's all available from our website as well. So no firm date yet, but we're hoping we can get everybody together again for that live hands-on training at some point in the future. Oh, and there's Dorothy, a former Renner Academy alumni who remembers a phrase from the academy she attended. I think it was 2019. In fact, Dorothy, we were just talking about how much fun we had with your group when we were out to dinner with Michael Spreeman and Rick and Carl and your old instructors. We were kind of reminded of that. So thanks for that memory there. Any other questions for me?
Well, I put a link in the chat for Renner Academy so people can click that directly. And folks, remember, if you just click on the ... at the bottom of the chat, you can have the option to save the chat to your computer if that helps you grab the links. There was one more question. Let's see here. Next Technical Academy. So question is, do you recommend Renner parts to the genuine Steinway parts? Also, why are the Steinway parts nearly double what they were a few years ago?
Okay, so if that one's for me, the Steinway parts questions, you'd have to really, I can't speak for Steinway. Steinway did buy the Renner factories in Germany a couple years ago. Renner's been a supplier to them. They put in their announcement for a century, and so they completed that back in 2019. And then there's a question from Johan Krebs about Steinway sent out a letter that if non-Steinway parts are installed, even though made by the same manufacturer like Renner, what is not allowed to claim that it is still a Steinway piano? Is it the requirement for getting approval from Steinway to put the Steinway decal on the case? Okay, so Yes, Steinway's position would be that unless you purchase parts from Steinway, they would not be genuine Steinway parts, and that's true. The parts we make, like I showed you, although made by Renner with the same quality materials, do have some additional design features to enable them to work well not only on the modern pianos but on the vintage pianos as well, like that fine adjustment screw, that high definition flange, the various levels of tapering that we offer for even touch weight throughout the scale. As the hammer weights change, we incorporated 3 levels of tapering with our shanks and flanges. So there's some additional features. So the parts are, although made by Renner, the designs that we came up with and had Renner build for us are different from the Steinway designs. But like Wayne mentioned, they'll perfectly fit on not only the modern Steinway, but also the vintage piano. So I hope that answers that one. Any other last questions?
I think we're pretty much done with some questions. I'm sure people have them to share, but we're just about out of time. Yeah, Wayne, what do you got?
A quick comment. I think I would recommend, if you could afford, anybody could afford to buy the Fandrick Rhodes weight bench system. I use it all the time. A good weigh scale, because I do weigh the whippings. I had a job where I needed to get a bit of weight off. So I drilled a hole in that angled whipping, and that actually took out 1 gram of weight. So I was able to zero in on refining the touch weight, by tailing the right amount. I think it's important to spend the time on looking at what our options are rather than just like diving into this whole job. My recommend is always take your time, even if it's going to take a day or two longer before you start, because you'll save a lot of work later. I've wasted days and days of work on some occasions. So there is a link. I believe I sent Ethan. I sent you a copy of the Fandrick Rhodes keyweight system and their contact info. Also to Jan, and also Renner. Chip, you guys have an amazing website. I spent 2 hours in there, and I thought, okay, I got to get out of here.
Thank you.
It was a good job.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, guys. It's been an excellent session, and we'd love to have you both back sometime soon. Maybe sooner than later. We talked a little bit beforehand, so we'll connect about another date. And just remember, for those of you out there participating, we put a couple links in the chat. If you want to get our most recent convention recordings, there's a link. There's a link to give us some feedback on this session. And there's also a link if you are not yet signed up for direct access to Piano Tech Radio Hour. You can sign up using that link for a modest monthly fee, and then you'll get all the recordings in our member area, and we'll always send you the direct link to Zoom. You don't have to register each week to jump in here. We always offer a free option, though, if you're on a budget and you want to join us. So it's really great to have everyone here, and we'll see you again next week. Wayne, thank you so much. Wait, one more thing. Chip and Loyed, you're just either one, just whatever somebody feels like. How does that work?
Well, my father's name was Loyed, and my grandfather was Loyed, and so I'm also Loyed the third. So I got the nickname Chip.
Got it. All right, good. So either one works, though, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Chip. It was great to have you on, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for giving us an hour of your time. Remember that you can catch us live online every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.
That's right. Go to pianotechradio.com to register so you can interact live and ask questions of our guests.
See you next week.